This is Visual Elements Workspace. We are looking at Visual Elements Workspace. This is a system that we have built at IBM to demonstrate ideas we have about visual language. In specific, we have a system called Visual Elements of Language, which is a linguistics, one might say, for visual language. In order to understand visual elements, we have a section in Visual Elements Workspace where one can find out about visual languages. By clicking on, that's part of the Apply menu, one finds out about alphabets, syntax, etc. So we can find out that visual language is the components for visual language, elements of components, semantics of visual language. Visual language is the systematic use of visual presentation graphic techniques to convey meaning. Current computer interfaces make extensive use of graphic techniques in creating visual languages. Visual languages, like verbal languages, are defined by grammar and semantics. If we want to find out about what a visual syntax is, we go down here. There are four classes of visual syntax. One can parse a visual language by using time. Many visual languages use time as an organization dimension. Computer drawings, programs use temporal information to affect meaning in several ways, etc. One can use position. There are three kinds of position. There's position relative, and there's three kinds of position relative. There's metrical, sequential, and orientation. Metrical is used to denote relative value. Plotting a function uses metrical syntax. Plots using polar Cartesian projected 3D logarithmic scales are examples of metric coordinate spaces. A metrical syntax could use position on B-spline as its metric. Graphs and bar charts use Cartesian coordinate system to relate to information. Sequential. A spatial sequence of objects to denote an order in which the visual elements could be considered. Written languages use sequential syntax where words follow each other, left to right, top to bottom. Sequential languages can use space differently. Cartoons, frames, are often used to arrange line. And orientation. Orientation, the relative angular relationship between visual objects. For three-dimensional solids, the rotation presents a view of objects or scene. You could also find out about alphabets. What kinds of alphabets are there? Well, any alphabetic item is made up of rendering, technique, surface properties, and imagery. Imagery can be images derived from photographs, degraded photographs, or drawings. It's representational. Icons are stylized representations of objects or processes. For example, a fork and a knife icon connotes a place to eat. These are drawings. So you can see through our little tour that we have a way of finding out about what a visual language is, what the elements of visual languages are. We could also use visual languages that have been built. And here is a list of visual languages that are available. You could also build a visual language. really the best way to find out about something is to use it. So we ask people to try to build visual language. We can build with visual language by choosing an alphabet. And in my alphabet I'm going to have vowel. And I'm going to also maybe have something else. Let's see what else I can find. Frog. Now, at this point I have two visual elements in my two alphabetic items in my language. For this language to do anything, I probably want to specify an action, parsing syntax, and an input syntax. Let's talk about what an input syntax is. For these things, the input syntax is going to tell them what the user can do with them. If it was a depictive-only language, they wouldn't have any. So, instead, let's pick one. Well, an input syntax can be something where you point, where you type something in, or you do a gesture. To point, we can either pick it, like a menu item, or we can pick it and move it. Let's pick and move these ones. So now we've chosen pick and move as the syntax. The parsing syntax for language is how, when things are arranged on the screen, the computer will decide how to work with them. Let's pick up the parsing syntax. We've already seen what kinds of parsing syntax there are. So let's start with a positional one. And let's think about them interacting. So we'll have intersecting syntax. And now, what's the action here? Well, the action or semantics of the visual language is something that we aren't going to, the system allows a person to specify themselves with the script, or we give some predefined ones. Let's choose beep. So beep is the action. Now now that we've specified the language and everything about it, we can try out the language. So we go over to language, and we are going to drag the frog into space. Drag the bell into space. Now if the bell gets on top of the frog, the system beeps. The bell gets on top of any frog, it beeps. If a frog gets on top of a frog, it beeps. The number of frogs that are on top of it are parsed as the number of things that are there. We could have chosen another kind of syntax, like relative. proximity. It's hard to see in relative sequential with a beat, so let's use a number to help us decide what's going on.